Welcome to the A-side for August 2017. This year is blowing by and there's been a lot of good music so far. There's a lot more to come. Obviously in this video, if you follow this channel, I'm going to tell you about the albums coming out that I'm excited for and the records I should have coming in, fingers crossed, right after this. Also worth mentioning, if you want to leave a comment or tweet at me before the B-side comes out, leave a question and I'd love to answer it, whether it's about my musical preferences or just anything that you'd like me to answer. I'll pick my favorites and answer in the B-side.
Hey Matt, what's your favorite hot dog?
All hot dogs. Hype Williams is coming out with Rainbow Edition. Now, Hype Williams is a director, but that's not who I'm talking about. Hype Williams is a musical collaborative group that's kind of shrouded in secrecy. It was started by Dean Blunt, who does a lot of really cool hip-hop inspired experimental music. Usually beats. And Hype Williams is a collective that no one really knows exactly who's involved. It seems like people drop in and out of it, but all I do know is that so far all of the Hype Williams albums have been excellent, experimental, hypnagogic pop. Some of it has down-tempo elements, some of it has hip-hop influence, and I love everything. So the fact that there's another album coming out is exciting. Now, a lot of people have speculated that it no longer has Dean Blunt because in 2016 he actually said that he was no longer involved with the Hype Williams project, but there was also a mysterious thing on the website which leads people to believe that he is involved with this one. If you're interested, you should follow it up and research it because it's way too much for me to talk about, but good music, check it out. Iron and Wine is coming out with Beast Epic. Now, the first single was so damn good, I pre-ordered the deluxe album without any hesitation. Iron and Wine is a terrific folk project that went a little more experimental in the later albums, and the original stuff is a little more simplistic, pared down folk. It's returning to roots with still having this kind of bombastic, almost symphonic presence to it. The first single from Beast Epic is one of my favorite tracks of the year. It is just bliss, and I recommend checking it out. Make sure you order that deluxe record before it sells out, because once the album comes out and it lives up to that hype, you're gonna regret not having it. Soccer Mommy is coming out with Collection. Now, Soccer Mommy is someone that was recommended to me maybe a year ago. I purchased a cassette tape of hers off of Orchid Tapes, which is a small boutique label, because it's really good lo-fi bedroom pop done by a girl. I feel like I know a lot of guys that do bedroom pop, like Alex G and things of that nature, but there aren't a lot of female-fronted bedroom pop acts that I know of, or at least that I like. So this really hit the spot musically for me, and Collection is her first full album, which is going to be, as it says, a collection of a lot of her previous tracks compiled into a, I guess, somewhat narrative. We'll see if it's good, all put together. Everything she's done so far I think is really solid, so this should be someone on your radar if you like dream pop. Milo is coming out with Who Told You to Think. Now, I don't know too much about Milo either. This was another recent recommendation that I was kind of blown away by. He's a hip-hop artist, and he's not very well known. He's definitely underground, but his flow and his beats are incredibly refreshing. He's not trying to do all the stuff that I don't like the little Uzi Vert style hip-hop. It's a lot more conscious than that, and it almost has elements of Kendrick at times. He has that kind of like bombacity to him. Is that a word? Bombacity? I don't know too much about him. All I know is that his previous records go for a lot of money and they're hard to find because he has a rabid following. And I managed to pick up his new one before it sold out. I think it's still on their Bandcamp, so check it out. And finally, a weird one. Lil Peep is coming out with his first ever actual album. Come Over When You're Sober Part 1 is a short album from the track list. I think it's only 6 or 7 tracks, but it is his first actual compilation that's not just a SoundCloud track or a mixtape. Lil Peep is pioneering a very, very strange segment of hip-hop that I'm very intrigued by. When I was at Nature World Night Out, I got to see a collective of up-and-coming underground rappers, including my boys in Secret Circle like Lil Ugly Mane, perform, but Lil Peep was the strangest thing. He's the white dude covered in tattoos, like face, body, just the worst tattoos ever. But he's pioneering like a Sad Boys style rap group where it's emo mixed with hip hop. He was rapping over a Brand New beat at one point. Brand New as in the emo band. And I kind of liked it live. I don't think it's great music, but I am intrigued to hear what the album sounds like because the live show was entertaining, if not a little strange. And this emo hip-hop collective that he's starting, the Goth Boy Clique, is definitely on my radar. So I'm curious to hear how the album sounds. Not a lot of music news, but there is something I do want to talk about. Bjork just announced that she's putting out another album. Now, Volnikara was an incredibly emotional, dark album. A friend of mine actually recently called it a teardrop, a single teardrop, just encasing every single song, which is a really kind of pretty way to look at it. Very heavy, though. I just read an interview with her from Dazed magazine where she said that this is her Tinder album, because Volnikara was about I think a divorce or a breakup. I think it was a divorce with her husband, I believe. And this is apparently her dating album, like just the feeling that's encapsulated by spending time with someone that you really, really care about on many levels. And I'm really curious what that sounds like at this point in Bjork's career. That sounds like it's almost going to have the young, like, intensity of some of her earlier albums like Post and Vespertine. But yeah, I'm excited. It went up for pre-order on her website for a vinyl. It had no album cover, no album title, no preview song. It was just like, buy this record. And you know what? People are going to because it's Bjork. I have some records coming in this month that I'm very stoked to show you in the B-side. I'll tell you what they are now, and then in the B-side, be ready for your face to be blown off. I Am 8-Bit, really solid label that's based out of LA, has pressed a ton of video game soundtracks. Some of my favorite ones I own, including Banjo-Kazooie, which is top 10 game of all time. Fight me. Long awaited, they have a symphony performing the soundtrack from The Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time. They called it Hero of Time, and they pressed it on a couple different variants, but I was lucky enough to get the Kickstarter variant, which is on all gold vinyl. Perfect for the Triforce, perfect for the Zelda universe. I got it in. It looks great, sounds great. I'll show you later though. Richard Houghton. That's a name that if you watch this channel religiously, which you should, and if you don't and you're not subscribed, go right now, pause this video and hit the subscribe button, and then keep watching. He is a vinyl madman, and he creates the most incredible things by his own hands with his lathe cut machine. He's brilliant. I did a mini documentary about him. Go back a couple videos, a couple months, and find it and watch it. It's fascinating. He's also an incredible musician though, and he put out his second compilation of cover songs. Actually, this one has a couple originals on there too, but he covers artists like Aphex Twin and Square Pusher. He covered Grimes on his last one, Bonobo on this one. So damn good. This compilation, entitled All Guitars 2, is going to sound great because Richard cares a lot about sound quality and he nails it. It's all sold out on his Bandcamp because all of his stuff sells so damn fast, but I'm lucky enough that I got the 7 inches that accompany it and the actual record itself. I'll be showing it all off in the B-side. Mayhem Loren's Terminal Illness. Now, Mayhem Loren is a name you may or may not know. If you're big into hip-hop, especially the New York scene, you'll know Mayhem because he's one of Action Bronson's best friends, one of his posse members, featured on almost all of his mixtapes. And he's an amazing rapper in his own right. Now, his album Terminal Illness is an underrated sleeper album from the era where Action was rising to fame with Dr. Lecter and Blue Chips. Terminal Illness is just as good as those albums, and Chopped Herring, a boutique UK label that presses a lot of hip-hop underground artists, pressed Terminal Illness for the first time. Now, I missed the colored variant on the website, which I was really bummed about, and I purchased the black one. But I found a copy on Discogs for the same price that was on the online store, so I bought it, and I'm gonna sell my black one for what I paid for it. If anyone's interested, shoot me a comment. But the colored one looks so good. It's super limited, and Chopped Herring releases, they go for a lot down the road. I am still looking for a copy of Action Bronson's Dr. Lecter. Hoos Kingpin is putting out Cocaine Beach on vinyl. Now, there's an interesting thing about this label. I don't know how to pronounce their name, first of all. It's D-A-U-P-E. Is it Daupy? Is it Dup? I don't know.
The A-U is like an O sound. It's dope.
Oh, you're right. What I do know is that all of their hip-hop releases are incredibly limited. I'm talking sometimes to 20, 30 copies, and they sell fast. If you're not there the second that they drop, you're just not going to get one. I went the second it went on sale. There were about 4 different variants, all at about 30, 40 copies a piece, I think. And then one variant that had an obi strip, like the Japanese obi strips they put on records. Within a minute, all of them were gone. The obi strip was gone in a half second because it was the first thing I tried to get, and I missed it. But I did get a variant. I did get one of these records for the first time. I've been trying to get stuff since one of their first releases, Fly God, which I actually was talking to the label before everyone realized how limited and crazy these are, and they almost sent me an overstock copy, and they almost sent me an they almost, damn it. They almost gave me one of the copies that they had extra lying around, but everybody started asking for replacements, probably fraudulently, because they found out these records were selling for $400 to $500 a pop on Discogs, so all the replacement copies went to the people that said, oh, I lost my copy, which is BS. So I didn't get it, and since then I've missed every single drop of every single record. But finally got one, Cocaine Beach. This is a really cool album because from what I can tell from the description of the album, they're trying to be the vaporwave of hip-hop, which means that they're going back to the 80s aesthetic, the Miami kind of Venice Beach, people in leotards working out, like palm trees, sunglasses. That's what he's going for, but it's still pretty hard. His flow is pretty heavy, so I'm excited to get this and show it off and finally own a dope record. Keeping with the underground, Moonshake is a secret label that presses video game vinyl, and I've showed them off a handful of times. In the Rarest Records I Own video, I showed off the Legend of Zelda record I have that they made, which was the Dark Side of the Moon on the front mixed with the Triforce, which is, you know, just perfect synergy right there. But they are putting out 2 new releases. I snagged them both. They both look amazing, and I'm really excited to show you. The first is the Donkey Kong Country soundtrack, which, low-key, really good soundtrack, not just for a video game soundtrack. That is just unbelievable music. And they also did the Super Metroid, Metroid, and Metroid 2, I believe. I think it's all 3 games soundtracks pushed onto a double disc gatefold. I think this is the first gatefold Moonshake has done. They did the cover like Smashing Pumpkins' Melancholy and the Infinite Sadness with Samus on the front. Looks so good. I can't wait to have it. I can't wait to show you guys. Moonshake records are really hard to get. You had to be on a mailing list years ago, and I don't know how to get you on, so please don't ask. I wish I did, but one day maybe he'll open up to the public. He keeps it really small because, you know, it's kind of a gray area making your own video game bootlegs, but he definitely does it so well, and I'm very glad to own them. And last but not least, Lil Ugly Mane's Third Side of Tape Volume 1. Now, this isn't a traditional Lil Ugly Mane rap album. He does rap on it, but this is a collection of just, I think, songs and audio things he had on his computer. Some of it's hardcore music, some of it's punk, some of it's him rapping, some of it's just beats, but it's just an immense amount of music over 2 discs, and I'm such a super fan of the guy that I can't wait to just dive in and hear the weird, the unlistenable, and maybe some of the cool stuff that I've never heard before. I actually own this on cassette, because this is the first time it's coming to vinyl, and I've never listened to the cassettes. So I'm excited to hear it on vinyl for the first real time. That's it for the A-side. I want to know what you're excited for this month. As usual, leave a comment, leave a fan question if you want. I will do my best to answer all of them in the B-side if they're awesome. And as always, if you like this video, give it a thumbs up, please subscribe, and there'll be more videos very soon.